Hello, workmates. Welcome to Work and Talk in PH, your go to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chill convos meet real life lessons because hashtag it works.
Hello, workmates, and welcome to Work and Talk in PH, your go to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chill convos meet real life lessons because it works. Today, we'll be interviewing and diving into the story of leadership, growth, and vision in the real estate industry. I'm Daniel, and I will be your host for today. Our guest today has been at the helm of one of the country's most respected property developers, someone who's helped shape not just buildings, but also communities. Please welcome the Vice Chairman of Federal Land Inc., Mr. Tom Mirasol. Sir Tom, thank you for having us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So, we wanted to learn more about your journey into real estate. So, let's start from the beginning. You've had a remarkable career in terms of real estate from major developers until now in federal land. How was that able to guide you into this role?
Most of my career, almost 30 years, was spent with Ayala Land before I joined Federal Land. And either by someone else's design or by accident, the roles that were given me in Ayala Land were, you know, sort of fixing problems that were there. And I was very lucky to have been able to to have been moved to all of the major business operations of Ayala Land, except for one or two, during my 30-year career. So that gave me, I think, a lot of useful background.
Correct.
Um,
Because a lot
uh,
of firefighting.
yes, and if I may sort of jump into Federal Land, what I found exciting about Federal Land is that it had a lot of fundamental value in the history that it did, but it also had a lot of underlying potential that I think was not being tapped yet.
Mhm.
It had strong fundamentals, but a great potential. Yeah.
So, very interesting career path and very interesting direction that your career has taken. Currently, you're now the president of Federal Land. You're
Oh,
also
FNG.
of FNG,
Yeah.
but you're also the vice chairman and also the president for the JV
Yes.
of FNG, correct?
Yes.
With all of these concurrent roles, did you have to change drastically your leadership style?
Style, no. I've always conducted the way I do business in a very, I think, consistent manner. I'm fairly personable. Um, I am not. I don't think you could classify me as being the sort of classic manager in the way that you're up here, everyone else is down there. No, I feel that everyone has a role, and we're all just equal. But there are certain responsibilities that are given to people that are different from others. I've always tried to handle myself in a way that I would like to have been handled as a junior officer or as a regular employee. Everyone should be treated with respect, and
Respect,
everybody
yes.
has dignity. And while not every idea is a winner, everyone should be given an opportunity
Say it
to
out
share
loud.
their
Yes.
ideas and learn whether they are right or not, because this is the best thing that we can do for the younger people in the office now. um, in terms of the changing role from an FLI perspective, in federal land itself, so I've had to give up some control, okay, a lot of control on operating day to day. That's now Jomari's. My role in federal land has changed to be on a more sort of strategic planning point of view. So rather than being involved in the day-to-day operations of federal land, my focus has been in building up systems and building up people in a way that they can handle problems better than I can. Right? That's my
Delegating to the
responsibility.
experts.
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
interesting. Talking about how you've handled people, what are your pet peeves when it comes to
I have many.
what's one major pet peeve that you wish you don't see often in the workplace?
I see too many people on their phones during meetings.
Maybe they're taking notes.
Maybe there are, but I'm willing to bet that half of them are not. And so I will, at times randomly call people out and ask people to comment on what was just discussed. And in most cases, right,
They were
they
distracted.
were distracted. I mean, and you can. Another one is, tardiness. People who are late for meetings. I try to make it a point to be early if I can, but absolutely on time. Okay, if I cannot be early.
Because when
And
you're just on time, you're already late.
yeah, yes, Japanese way. Maybe the third one, if you'll allow me one more.
Of course.
Um, People in meetings are there to contribute to the discussion. Discussion is richer when people share their perspectives. And when people habitually attend meetings, and it's the same meeting, right? We have some meetings that are very regular. If you happen to attend a regular meeting, it happens, every month or every week, and you never share
Or
anything,
participate, yeah.
then why are you there? You might as well find something more useful to do than spending an hour and a half in a meeting.
So how do you change these kinds of characteristic from employees, aside from pointing it out to them?
Okay, here, this is fairly new.
The meeting norms.
These meeting norms. This is our expectations of people when they attend meetings, because we make big decisions on a very consensual basis, right? Rank and authority should be a non-issue. We let the best ideas come up, regardless of where they come from. We try to set up our meetings in such a way that we achieve the objectives, we make good decisions, and we train people to step up into leadership positions.
That's so interesting. And I think a lot of younger employees, younger generations really adapt that into the workplace. Because it's something that we don't see
I hope so.
regularly. Yeah.
I hope so.
A lot of people now are just too complacent. A lot of them are just too quiet.
Yes.
And they would hide behind you saying, oh, I'm shy. I don't want to participate. I'm scared.
Yeah, and that happens, I think, either because people are unsure of their own abilities, or they don't know that they have permission to speak. And I think a lot of times it's the latter. People feel that, oh, I don't, I have not earned my place here at this table. But you're here, right? You're here, and we expect you to speak your mind, whether or not you agree with the boss. And I do encourage, especially when they don't agree, I encourage people, to say things, because it's a great test for us whether we're making the right decision.
That is kind of scary, playing the devil's advocate. But it's something that's really going to enrich meetings, enrich the discussion, and also help you come up with the right decisions.
Absolutely. I used to tell people, whenever I have the chance, we need more rebels in the office. Okay, it's the people who come up with the crazy, innovative ideas that tend to change the world. If we didn't have someone like Magellan, right, who thought, oh, I can circumnavigate the globe, I can go, to the east by sailing west, I'm sure a lot of people thought he was crazy.
Correct.
But we need a little bit of crazy, in this life. Otherwise, if we always stay in our lanes, how are we ever going to
There's no growth.
discover? There's no growth.
Yeah. That's very interesting. It's a perfect soundbite for this episode. Now, talking about being able to, of course, be at the helm of this organization and now working and doing a JV with the Japanese company Nomura, do you think that it's also changing how real estate is being perceived by the Filipinos? Do you think that they're now more inclined towards something a little bit more Japanese? Is it changing the buying perspective and the expectations of Filipino buyers?
I'm not sure, and that's an honest answer. No? We do know that there is a great affinity for all things Japanese in the Filipino culture. Electronics, pop culture, cuisine,
Cuisine,
fashion.
systems.
Yeah. So there's a lot of respect because the Japanese have thought these things through.
Yes.
And all you have to do is take a look at some of the products that they make, from stationery to pens, to all sorts of things.
It's all award
Even the
winning.
smallest things, yes. How do you reinvent a clothes hanger, for example? They've done it.
Yes.
There's this inherent, I think, respect and trust in things Japanese cars, for example. So the challenge is how do we take that sort of inherent respect, the affinity, and put it in real estate in a way that the Filipino consumer can understand. In our experience with Nomura and looking at their projects overseas, which by the way you should join us one of these days. No? A Japanese home is noticeably different from a Filipino home. Whether that's a standalone house and lot or whether it's a condominium, there are things which I think we look at it and we say, oh yes, we should be doing this, and there are a few things that maybe we look at it, okay, I'm not sure that this is right for the Philippines. So it's finding those things that translate well.
Perfect balance.
Yes, bringing them to the Philippine consumer. Now, I think one of the things that are going for us is the Japanese aesthetic. People tend to like that. It's very clean, very
Minimalist.
yeah. And then, of course, I think there is a belief that in Japanese engineering,
Correct.
right? And we have a lot of engineers here, and they have helped us tremendously in different ways of how to design things, how to build things.
And especially now with people talking a lot about the big one coming,
Yes.
and
yeah.
that's also affecting real estate. Of course, who else would you trust
True.
but the experts in earthquakes
That's true.
and
That's true.
earthquake resilience?
Yeah. Credit to all of the Philippine engineers, right? Despite all of these earthquakes, and we have thousands of buildings here in the Philippines and Metro
Correct.
Manila, right? I think I can count on one hand the number of structural problems in my lifetime that I have seen. I think I can only think of two in the last 50 years.
I think also that's because you've been in the real estate industry for so long. I guess you can't help but go into other properties and be a little bit more critical, looking at designs and how buildings look like, and maybe thinking inside that maybe I should change this, or maybe this isn't something that I would do in a project.
Right. Although I wouldn't use the word critical. I would probably use the word curious.
Okay.
It's always interesting to try to figure out why did they do things this way, right? And why does this developer do things that way? Do they know something, that we don't, or do they lack information that we have, and that's why they're doing it that way? I don't believe that anyone has figured everything out completely. There's always this learning.
That's why we
Right.
need the rebels.
Yes, exactly. Things that you might not even consider before. One recent example is, this is with our hotel, Grand Hyatt Manila. Everyone's been talking about AI, right, and how AI is going to change how business operate. The Hyatt managers have figured out a way, for example, to use AI in a way that we would never have thought of before. And what they do is every dish coming back from a restaurant, going back into the kitchen after the customer has eaten it, every dish is scanned, okay? And a computer is analyzing what are customers eating
And
and
what
what
are
are
they?
they leaving behind. So it will tell you, okay, maybe your portions are too large, or this particular side dish is not really
As
it's not
popular.
really, popular. So all of this information then goes into the kitchen management, and they say, okay, you should buy more of this, less of this. You should be cooking these things at this time.
That is
You know,
amazing.
you
So
know-
it's cost cutting.
Well, it's efficiency, right? So on weekends, these are the dishes that are popular. On weekdays, these are the dishes that are popular. And a system that can look at these things in a way that maybe a chef can't.
Yes.
It's amazing. And if you had asked us, how can you use AI in the hotel business? It's food.
Scanning the
Afterward,
leftovers.
Scanning the leftovers would not have been top of mind
Correct.
for someone like me, but
Someone thought about it.
Someone thought about
A
it.
rebel thought about it.
Yes.
And now it's changing the way you guys order, how you become more efficient in
Yeah.
terms of.
And it's making customers more satisfied, right? So if we can deliver better value because we're able
And less
to
wastage,
give them, exactly,
yes.
exactly. Then it's better for them. It's better for us. There's less waste. Yeah. So it's good all around.
Has AI just been applied in the hotel? Are you also applying it now in your real estate projects?
All of our units have been required as part of their planning to include at least one AI innovation.
Okay. Can you share one AI innovation that you're most proud of in one of your projects?
There are actually
Several.
several. Um, it would be unfair of me to cite,
To rank it.
to
Okay,
cite,
okay.
one. But what I can say is, over the next 12 months, we will be very proud to be announcing to the public,
Announcing.
these are the things that we are doing. Of course, it's also important for us that we have a bit of a head start advantage.
Correct,
We don't
correct.
want to let everybody know
It's
what we're
corporate,
doing.
it's corporate secrets.
Yes.
But we look forward to knowing more about how AI is impacting real estate in Federal Land. If you met your younger self now, Sir Tom, what advice do you think would be surprising to him?
What advice?
Yeah.
I think, okay, this is the advice that I give to um, young executives, right? Young managers. Get, 5 or 6 years of experience, with this company, and then 5 or 6 years of experience with that company and that company and that company. It gives you a perspective of, different ways of doing things that you would not get if you stayed with one company, for your entire career. Plus, every time you move, there's always a bit of a premium when you move, and that premium isn't there when you stay with one company forever.
Because you're right, old school employees would just say loyalty is something that tenure is something that should be valued. The longer you stay with a company, 20 years, 30 years. But you're right, it's getting different perspectives. If there is an opportunity for growth in other viewpoints, then it's something that should be taken.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes people better executives, better workers, right? Because you have a wealth of knowledge that you would not have if you had simply stayed where you are.
Correct. I think a lot of young employees now are doing just that,
Well,
trying to get a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, then trying to check whether there's something better.
I hope that's what they're doing, right? I hope not just jumping,
Yeah.
right? If people are jumping because, or I'm tired,
Or I need to find myself.
yes, no, 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 no. That's not a good reason. Okay, before you move from one company to another, you have to have been able to contribute something significant, right?
Correct.
If you've not contributed something significant, then you're
Jumping.
just wandering.
Yeah.
You make your mark, and then you make your mark, and then you make your mark.
When you were younger, Sir Tom, I'm curious, have you always envisioned what you'll be in the future? I know a lot of people now, when you ask them what college degree are they going to take, they're undecided. They don't know
Yeah.
because they don't know what their passion is.
Yeah.
But was it different for you from the onset? Did you know what you were passionate about?
I had always planned to, when I was very young, right?
Like 5 years ago, right?
No, much longer. But when I was very young, my original idea was to be a marine biologist.
Okay.
As I got older, university, my objective was to get into banking and finance. And it was quite by accident that I ended up. I love it. And that's why I've been here ever since.
I think we're going down to our last question for today. So, Sir Tom, if you could leave our listeners with one practical belief about buildings and living in the Philippines, what should that be?
Real estate, when I had more time, I would go to universities sometimes with our HR and try to explain a career in real estate too. And I've always mentioned that real estate is one of the few industries where you can see your work out in the open. It's in concrete and glass and steel, and it's something that you can drive by with your kids or your grandkids, and you can say,
I built
I
that.
did that, okay, or I was a part of that. With all due respect to people who do paperwork, your work ends up on someone's computer somewhere or in a filing cabinet somewhere, and you will never see it, right?
There's no tangible legacy.
There is none, and there is and this might sound corny, but there is a deeper purpose, right, in real estate. you are literally building cities, and that brings all sorts of life and all sorts of growth to any location. I think, especially now, for the young people that we're trying to bring into the industry, you have to give them more than a job. You have to give them meaning, right? And building a nation. I mean, how much more meaningful can that be? It's an amazing job.
Correct. Yeah, and it's really literally nation building.
Yes.
I think that's everything that we wanted to ask you, Sir Tom. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey and how you've achieved what you've already achieved in this line of work and in this industry. Thank you so much, Sir Tom.
Thank you. Happy to do this.
To our listeners, may this episode remind you that behind every building and skyline are people with purpose, shaping the spaces where we live, work, and grow. Don't forget to follow Work and Talk in PH for more episodes like this, where we highlight work that matters and the people behind it. Again, I'm Daniel, and this is Work and Talk in PH, your go to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chill convos meet real life lessons because hashtag it works.